So do you have any plan to expand student visas?
We have a very big problem with illegal immigration.
India is having one very sensitive issue, and that is Kashmir. So when your Deputy Prime Minister visited Pakistan last October, so there was a mentioning of Kashmir in the joint statement.
Have to be decided according to the international law. It's very difficult to find dates with two very busy prime ministers.
What do you think about Russia-Ukraine war now?
Could end up tomorrow if Russian forces which invaded a sovereign country, which was acknowledged by Russia. Russia managed to conquer less than 3% of the Ukrainian territory in 4 years.
How you see the role of US or US President Trump in the whole,
If President Trump puts pressure on the Russians, they will be not in a position to resist that pressure.
America has stated that there is a condition that India cannot buy Russian oil. So are you happy with that?
I'm very happy that India has drastically reduced purchase of Russian oil, and this agreement will probably.
Do you think any more proactive role should be played by India or Prime Minister Modi to end the war?
He is urged some restraint and caution on President Putin, and he, as I said last time I was here, he was instrumental.
What you want to say Indian tourists about visiting Poland?
Viksit Bharat, Viksit Poland.
नमस्कार। भारत और पोलैंड के रिश्ते काफ़ी तेज़ी से आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। 2024 में प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने पोलैंड का दौरा किया था और इस साल उम्मीद की जा रही है कि पोलैंड के प्रधानमंत्री डोनाल्ड टस्क जो है वो भारत के दौरे पर आएंगे, और इस बीच काफ़ी जो राजनयिक जो दौरे हैं एक दूसरे देशों में वो हो रहे हैं। और हमारे साथ इस वक्त जो हैं वो व्लादिस्लाव बार्तोशेव्स्की हैं, जो कि उप विदेश मंत्री हैं पोलैंड के, और हमने पहले भी बात की है। वेलकम टू इंडिया वंस अगेन फॉर यू एंड योर दिस ट्रिप. So what was the main focus of this trip?
Namaste. First of all, I came here to the conference, which is the EU-India conference, after following the successful signing of the free trade agreement between the European Union and India, which is a great success. It took a few years to negotiate, and at the end it accelerated and was concluded, which basically creates a free trade market for goods and some services for an entity of 2 billion people,
okay,
and 25% of the world economy. So it's a very big trading bloc, which should benefit both India and the 27 member states of the European Union.
So you have also mentioned in your speeches that India is the third largest economy, or going towards become the third largest country economy in the world. So what you see how India and Poland can be mutually benefited with this EU-India FTA? What are the potential areas where we can go and make good progress in those areas?
Well, first of all, both India and Poland have a goal, or share a goal, which is Vikas Pragat, which we want to develop, we want to grow, and we want to become very modern. Poland, in 1990, 35 years ago, 36 years ago, was a bankrupt country. We had gigantic foreign debt, we had inflation over 500%, we had unemployment at 25%, and since then we took made very serious reforms, and last year we became $1 trillion economy, 20th biggest economy in the world. We are growing at 3.6% a year, which is nothing in comparison to Indian growth, but it's quite remarkable in Europe, where average is considerably lower, and we've been growing steadily in the last 35 years. So we have now ambitions to expand, and we have ambitions to cooperate with India, which is a like-minded, largest democracy in the world, and we want to develop trade, which is one thing, in all spheres. but we also want to develop investments. We are talking about Polish firms investing in India. Some of them are here already. We are talking about Indian firms investing in Poland. And we are also talking about doing joint ventures in production, which could be sold to third countries. So, and on trade, we, of course, there's a variety of issues because we both have quite digital economies. India gets 9% of GDP from the IT sector. We get 7% of GDP in IT sector. So we both are fairly advanced in that. And so cooperation in that field is very important. Cooperation in military sphere is very important. We have since Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited us in Poland, which was shown by you 2 years ago.
Yes.
We have established a working group, military working group between India and Poland, and we already are talking, advancing in some issues because India is interested in our drone production, which is sold here. It's available to the military, Indian military. About our satellite communication, about our missile, handheld missiles, anti-aircraft missiles. We're talking also about armed personal carriers to be sold here. We are talking about cooperation, which is possible because India's just signed also the agreement on defense and security with the EU. Yes. So we're talking about working together on cybersecurity. So this is a variety of military engagements. And in the industry, we are talking mining, we are talking green technologies, we're talking cooperation on, we are already involved in India in waste management. Mm-hmm. We are talking about recycling batteries, for which we're quite advanced, and electric vehicles, yes, which a couple of companies in India make.
So, yes.
So very wide range.
Yeah. So my next question is about the automobile sector itself, because Poland is going to be benefited by this FTA because India is going to reduce its tariff from 50-60% to 10%, or 110% to 10%. So how Polish automobile sector is going to be benefited with this FTA?
Well, automobile sector, we are very much interested in Indian co-production. So Indian companies investing in co-production in Poland. We are very good on electric batteries. We are second largest producer now in that, but India is advanced. A couple of companies in India advanced in EV production. We would like them to produce in Poland, mm-hmm, and for the sale to other markets as well. We are so it will benefit that benefits Indian companies selling in Poland. Okay. So that's that reduction. But we have also things which we want to sell to India, and that would benefit us. So it's as at the conference yesterday, it was emphasized that we do not have competing economies. The Secretary of Commerce was present, and he said we don't have competing economies. We've got economies which actually can benefit from working together, mm-hmm, because the nature of Indian economy is quite different from the nature of EU economy. So we complement each other and don't compete with each other. So together, 1 + 1 becomes 3, and therefore this is the Secretary of Commerce was enthusiastic, mm-hmm, about this deal, and we are very happy with that too. So apart from India-EU FTA, when Prime Minister Modi was there in 2024, there was joint action plan was discussed, and there was one, both agreed for that joint action plan. So how the review is going on, and in what sector, what development has taken place till now? Well, we have regular consultations on that with the foreign ministries. I just had one Secretary West C.B. George in December. I just had a long conversation with him this trip to discuss where we are, what we've done, what we have to do, and we designed concrete step-by-step plan in various sectors what has to be done next. So we are communicate frequently of how to move things forward because as we discussed it at the conference, ideas are very nice, designs are very nice, but they have to be implemented. And we are now moving to the stage of implementation. So we are having a meeting here with our AI people who are coming to the conference organized under the auspices of Prime Minister Modi. We have a conference to do with economic development, which a gathering between Indian and Polish companies in Polish Ministry of Development and Technology in March. So we have we just planned concrete meetings and follow-up steps to have things done. We are waiting for the military group, which would be ministries of defense, the army people, and the companies. So companies talk to companies how to actually cooperate together. So we've got a very comprehensive plan and scenarios now how to move forward. We of course also interested in helping with the Indian agriculture. We're quite advanced. 15% of our exports are from agricultural products. We are certainly self-sufficient. We can feed ourselves, but we supply some things to others, and we are talking about that. Also agricultural. Producing preserved products or chilled products, which which can be stored in a climate like India's, because that's which is not production per se, but it's making sure that it's preserved. So it's a chilled products, not necessarily frozen, but chilled products with special units and so on, which is of interest to countries with hot temperatures like India.
So, but when it comes to agricultural product, India has some certain kind of reservations. So, is that a barrier to go further into this kind of cooperation?
The FTA specifically excluded areas where either India or the EU had particular sensitivities and problems with liberalizing the markets. So we don't touch some parts of agriculture, we don't touch some other parts, but that doesn't mean we cannot do others. Okay. To put it as an example, we are not trying to stop the export of mangoes from India to Poland. Okay. Because we don't have mangoes. Because there's no way we could have them. And there are certain things which you do not have here, which you do not have a problem buying. Okay. We are not going to swamp the Indian agriculture. That is not on the cards. That was not discussed. That was agreed. We don't touch it. But there are some products which we could easily trade. We have no problem buying Indian tea and a few other things, and so that is. But we are sensitive to that, and the whole agreement was based on the conception, as the Commerce Secretary said, we went for the low-hanging fruit. Okay. And on that we agreed without problems. So as you mentioned in the beginning of your answer that you are the 21st biggest economy in the world and you are the 5th biggest economy in the EU. So, but the volume of the trade is very less with India. So what all can be done to enhance that volume, because it's almost 7 billion? 6 billion. Okay. 6 billion. Yeah. But it's nothing. To make a comparison, if you talk about 6-7 billion, our trade with Germany is 200 billion. Yes. So, and your trade with Germany is about 20% of that. So there is a room to grow, and FTA is a way to do it. The best way to do it is, and this is we discussed, is to bring companies to companies, because the governments can legislate, so we can agree to have a foreign trade agreement, but the governments are not trading with governments, with the possible exception of some arms deals which need to be authorized by the government. The rest is company to company. Most of your business is private, and most of our business is private, and we have to make sure that these companies can talk to each other, and this is our role. That's what we discussed the last 2 days, to enable them to do so, because many companies in Poland think India is far away and we don't know how to deal with bureaucracy and various obstacles. When we remove the tariffs, it becomes much easier. Then we bring them here and says it's a very well developed country. I always hear in India that you are a developing country. And I say, since you are the 4th biggest economy in the world, you have developed somewhat. And you are going to be 3rd very soon. So but people don't necessarily know each other that well, and if they feel it's strange, far away, not familiar, and that is hinders progress. So this is what we like to
And
do.
you have already mentioned about the defense sector, but if you can throw some light what is being done on the cyber security front, because you are a very big player on that front. So how you can help India on that front?
We are a big player in that, but we are it is estimated we are in the top 5 in the world on that. We are waiting to sign a memorandum of understanding on cybersecurity, because it's a very sensitive issues and we have to have proper agreements to start sharing, but we are hoping to do it. We have an AI summit here, and it is our cyber security people who are in the forefront of developing AI. So I think it may be opportunity to discuss these issues here. There's somebody from the Ministry for Digital Affairs who is going to participate in the summit, and this ministry deals with cyber, for civilian side of cyber. So we are hoping to move that forward. And then of course but that we deal likely government to government. It's not necessarily for wider public consumption.
Okay. And one important question is about visas, especially student visas. So do you have any plan to expand student visas from India, and also if you have any plan to extend more scholarship for Indian students, because a lot of Indian students, they are eyeing a country like Poland, where they are having they think that they have more potential, not just to study but also get job over there.
We have about 6,000 or 7,000 Indian students currently in Poland, and they are welcome to come. Visas, they can easily come as tourists. If you work working visas, this is slightly more complicated, because we faced. We have a very big problem with illegal immigration, which we had to stop, and we managed. We had to also we had a problem with visas which were not fully legally produced and obtained by the previous government. We stopped that too, and now we are revamping the migration law. But we have no problem with Indians coming, and we have plenty of Indians working in Poland already. And they are, as we discussed at the conference, Indians share a certain approach. Firstly, they are very hardworking. Yes. Secondly, they're very family oriented.
Yes.
Which we value, and thirdly, they don't cause any trouble. We don't care about some incidents with Indian people doing something criminal or
so you are quite open for that.
So Indians are a kind of people which we like to have because of the certain the way you behave and the way you work. I mean, we have plenty of Indians working, and they are including it. You have made investments in the IT in Poland. For instance, Infosys is in very many places, and we've got in some other companies, and When Prime Minister Modi came to Poland, he was greeted in Warsaw by a small percentage of the Indian community, which was still quite large and was very enthusiastic. I was at the meeting.
Yes.
We managed to squeeze 500 Indians in one room in a hotel, and it was very raucous meeting. And there are very many others. So we certainly like people like Indians to come to Poland, because, as I said, you are not people who you have people who benefit the country because you produce the GDP for us, we have to stop people who can come and be troublesome.
Okay.
But it does not apply to
yes.
the
So
Indians.
you can take all the precautions, and then you allow Indian people or Indian students to come over there.
Yes.
Then,
Yes.
So when it comes to bilateral relation, India is having one very sensitive issue, and that is Kashmir. So when your Deputy Prime Minister visited Pakistan last October, so there was a mentioning of Kashmir in the joint statement, and when Deputy Prime Minister visited recently,
Yeah.
that issue was there. So my question to you that whether that issue is settled now, what has happened after that, because there was a lot of news in Indian media about that particular issue.
It was much exaggerated because our foreign minister, Deputy Prime Minister Sikorski, made it very clear that we completely disapprove and condemn any state-sponsored terrorism wherever it occurs, and he has we have no tolerance for that, the last meeting with our foreign minister with Dr. Umashankar took place 3 days ago, and in the States,
Yes.
and they had a perfectly good conversation. I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Umashankar yesterday, and there was not issue of any kind. It's obvious where we stand. Any issues between India and Pakistan, they have to be, and they have been historical issues for a very long time, at least since 1947, have to be decided according to the international law, which UN Charter, which you signed, and we say this is the way to solve disputes, but it's for you to do that.
Okay. When Prime Minister Modi visited Poland in 2024, India-Poland relation got new momentum. So I am hearing now that Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk is going to visit India this year. So if you can throw some light on that.
Yes, there is a provisional agreement that Prime Minister would like to revisit, and we are just discussing specific dates. So the Indian government confirmed that yes, they will be very happy to greet Mr. Tusk. We are now looking for the dates which would be suitable both for us and for Prime Minister Modi.
And how soon is it going to happen?
It should happen certainly before the end of this year. We've got various. It's very difficult to find dates which two very busy prime ministers.
Yes.
But we are definitely looking at a couple of options, and we are we suspect fairly soon they will be confirmed, and then it can be announced when it's suitable. But that visit will take place. Also, the issue is, of course, as you understand, that we are not close neighbors. So you cannot just fly a plane and come back the next day. We have it has to take a lot of time but it's certainly going to take place.
Okay. Now we are moving towards an issue called Ukraine. I know that Ukraine is a very sensitive issue for Poland. First question about Ukraine is that, are you satisfied with the talks going between Russia and Ukraine? Today itself, American President Trump made a statement that after Ukraine-Russia talk now something good is going to happen. We heard that it is going to be solved in 24 hours time, but 1 year passed. I'm talking about the term. He's in office for more than 1 year, but no solution has been, achieved till now. So, what do you think about Russia-Ukraine war now, and how do you see, because it's going to complete its fourth year on
Fourth year,
24th of February. So, your take on that?
First of all, the war could end up tomorrow if Russian forces, which invaded a sovereign country, which was acknowledged by Russian Federation in 1991 and accepted as a full member of the United Nations, withdrew their forces. If they withdrew their forces, there would be no war. Their rhetoric is that Ukraine does not exist as a sovereign nation. Well, the majority, members of the United Nations, they think otherwise, so it's a slight problem here. The issue here in the peace talks is that Russia managed to conquer less than 3% of the Ukrainian territory in 4 years. And yet they want to be given the territories which they did not conquer. Imagine what India would say if you had a war with one of your neighbors and they said, yes, we managed to take a little bit of your territory, but we want much more as a peace settlement. You will say, no way we are going to agree to that.
So then there is a statement, and my question is intended to know from you that how you see the role of US or US President Trump in the whole,
US role and President Trump's role is crucial because he is, if you look at individual, he is the only person who can end this war, apart from Putin, who doesn't want to end this war. But President Trump wants to end this war. So, if President Trump puts pressure on the Russians, they will be not in a position to resist that pressure. We in Europe, in the EU, and NATO members of the EU basically are the same, with 4 exceptions. We'll support Ukraine like we did support them last year. All the money which went to Ukraine came from Europe. US did not finance Ukraine last year at all. We bought American arms and transferred them to Ukraine, and we gave them our arms and our financial support. And we are going to continue doing that because we believe that if we don't have secure and just peace in Ukraine, Russian Federation will attack us within a very short period of time. And we will not agree to that because it's our security is at stake. Because especially in Poland, which we are the next neighbor of Ukraine. So we believe that there may be peace in Ukraine, but it really depends on President Putin agreeing to, because Americans agreed on terms with Ukraine, but Putin doesn't want to agree on that. So we'll see. It's
yeah. So there was a long demand from Europe side also that India should stop buying up Russian oil. Now India has just announced, India US both have announced one FTA framework agreement, and in that America has stated that there is a condition that India cannot buy Russian oil. So are you happy with that condition from the US?
I'm very happy that India has drastically reduced purchase of Russian oil, and this agreement will probably exchange Russian oil for maybe the American oil or the Middle Eastern oil. And we're very happy because the problem with buying Russian oil was that the money which came from that, which went from that to Russia, fuels the war effort. So we in the EU stopped buying the oil and almost entirely stopped buying the gas by the end of next year, by beginning of next year, and a little bit by the end of next year, depending on type of gas, there will be no gas and no oil. And we have agreed now to the 20th package of sanctions on the Russians, and we are all very pleased that India agreed to change as well in this sphere. And so it's a win-win for everybody. Maybe not for the Russians, but for everybody else.
And one final question is about India's role when it comes to Ukraine war. India has its stated position and it has clarified it time and again. But do you think any more proactive role should be played by India or Prime Minister Modi to end the war?
I think Prime Minister Modi has played a role in this because he has urged some restraint and caution on President Putin. And he, as I said last time I was here, he was instrumental in stopping President Putin from having crazy ideas of dropping a tactical nuclear weapon on the territory of Ukraine. President of China, Xi Jinping, did that, but also Prime Minister, which was well known, and Prime Minister Modi did the same, which was less known. And when I said that, even the people in India were surprised, but he did. So we are very much appreciated. Mr. Modi is a world statesman and is respected also in Moscow. So his word matters. So we very much appreciate that he plays a role like that, and he's a very wise leader, and we appreciate that very much.
And one final thing about the tourism in Poland, because if you talk about Poland and we don't talk about tourism, that is not so my point is that what you want to say Indian tourists about visiting Poland and how welcoming Poland is for more and more Indian tourist footfall.
Oh, we are very welcoming to Indian tourists. We've got now 2 direct flights from 2 cities, Mumbai and of course Delhi. I don't remember offhand the number of tourists visiting, but it's quite large. If you come to Poland, you'll see quite a varied areas. Come to Poland in winter. We have plenty of snow. It's an attraction.
Yes.
Although temperature may be less unless you are living in northern India, because temperature when I left was 25 degrees minus. But we've got wherever you go, you'll find Indian restaurants.
Yes, I was about to mention that.
Indian restaurants. This is a very very popular food in Poland as well. And Indians will be treated in a very friendly fashion. So don't forget, we have had diplomatic relations with India, which is now 77th year.
Yes.
And we have never had any problems in the 77 years. We had a very good relationship.
Yes.
You please come and visit. You are most welcome, because the only way to get closer is when people start to knowing each other. If you don't go if the Poles don't go to India, they heard something about it, but that is not the same as actually coming here and seeing the beautiful, colorful variety. If the Indians don't go to Poland, it's like being on the moon, and and you've been there a number of times, and you know that it's not quite so strange.
And people-to-people contact is very important when it comes to bilateral relations. So,
absolutely.
Yes. So thank you for the time, and thank you and welcome once again in India, and hope you are very much satisfied with your this trip. And
very much so. And to end, I can only say Viksit Bharat, Viksit Poland.
Viksit Bharat and Viksit Poland. So on this good note, we are ending our conversation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
तो ये पोलैंड के उप विदेश मंत्री जिन्होंने हर मुद्दे पर हमसे बात की और उन्होंने बताया कि किस तरीके से भारत और पोलैंड के बीच जो रिश्ते हैं वो तेज़ी से आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, और आगे आने वाले समय में इसी साल पोलैंड के जो प्रधानमंत्री हैं डोनाल्ड टस्क, वो भारत आने की उनकी पूरी संभावना है। तारीखों पर बातचीत चल रही है, और जैसे ही वो एक बार फिक्स होगा हम उस जानकारी के साथ भी आपके सामने हाजिर होंगे। फिलहाल नमस्कार।